Today we are going to make the most incredible T-bone steak. We're bringing that typical steakhouse classic back home and making it on the fire. And we're going to be joining it with this amazing trio of vegetables. Butternut, lovely sugary syrupy butternut. We're going to make some cream spinach and a lovely thick sauce, delicious onion rings. And we'll be serving all of this with some lovely crispy chips. And we're going to make the thing that makes the steak a monkey gland sauce. It is going to be incredible, and it will bring back that nostalgic feeling that you used to have when going out to one of your favorite steakhouses. Well, come join me as we get stuck in. All right, the first thing that we're going to get started on is making the monkey gland sauce. By the way, no monkeys were harmed in this making of monkey gland sauce. And you know, many South African families have their own version of making monkey gland sauce, but I think typically it's tomato sauce, Worcester sauce, and some Mrs. Ball's chutney. From there, it's up to you to add the flavors that you like. So we're going to fry these off gently, so they've got a nice translucent gold color to them. A tablespoon of olive oil. All right, let that go low and slow. We're going to add 2 garlic cloves to that concoction over there. So just give this a squish. Peel it off nicely. Let's get that garlic in there. Ah, lovely garlic and onion smell. It's like the best flavors, the best smells that you can get. Right, let's just let that go for another 2 minutes. As you can see, it's got a nice golden color, and that's as far as we want it to go. So let's add the magic. We're going to add tomato sauce or ketchup. So half a cup of ketchup or tomato sauce, half a cup of Mrs. Ball's plain original chutney, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. This is so interesting. Worcester sauce. We watched a little program about this, and they actually put anchovies in it. Anchovies in Worcester sauce. I really didn't know that. And then they let it ferment. And it ferments for quite a while before it turns into something magical like that. All right. And 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Now we're talking tang. We're talking big time tang there. 1 tablespoon of sugar. Right, that tomato sauce is quite sweet already. Grinding with black pepper. Just for flavor. So you season it to the way you like it. But this is the basic concept. All right, let's get it mixed in. We just want to thicken it up a bit. Mix all those lovely flavors in there. All right, let that go for a minute, 2, till it starts bubbling, and then we're going to give it a taste and see what else it needs. Right, so it's been going on for about a minute. Let's give it a taste. That tang, that sweetness. I think it needs a touch more Worcester. These bottles are impossible to open. I'm going to add just a little bit, wait, teaspoon of Worcester, and some more black pepper. And of course, once we let this go a little bit further, you know, those flavors are going to combine. You're going to mix in very well with each other, and the sauce is going to smoothen out. So for now, it's a little bit tangy, a little bit sour, nice and sweet, but it's going to mellow out. So, okay, now we've got the perfect monkey gland sauce. So we've made our most incredible monkey gland sauce. What type of sauces are you guys into? A cheese sauce, mushroom sauce, pepper sauce, mustard sauce? Let us know in the comments. All right, well, let's get started on this lovely sweet accompaniment that we're going to have with a steak. some butternut. These guys we grew from our garden, or at least they grew in our garden, but we fed them and looked after them. It's now time to use them. So we have bought additional butternut, which we'll add to the pot, but we've got 3 of these guys, so we're going to use all of them today. Alright, so let's just peel the skin. You don't want that, that's going to be quite hard, right? Let's get our harvest in there. So to that we've got about 3 cups of water. Let's add the rest of our butternut in there, our store-bought butternut. Let's get 2 tablespoons of butter. And butter gives it that lovely silkiness. Then we take some golden syrup. Now we take 4 tablespoons of this. This is like a dessert for the steak, right? Think of it that way. And 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to put a tablespoon of cinnamon in. Let's get that mix in there a little bit and cover it with a lid for now. Get it up and boiling. Let it evaporate nicely. Take the lid off. Let's get that further evaporated and we can see that beautiful golden syrup bubbling, and then we can mash it up. And the secret to this, I'll tell you a bit later. Right, this has been going on for about 10 minutes. We've got the butternut nice and soft, yes. You can see it is now mushable. And look at that lovely liquid. It's almost like a pancake syrup, right? It's cinnamon and that sugary smell. All right, so let's take our musher and mush that. Now there's 2 secrets here. First of all, that amount of liquid, it mustn't be watery. You don't want to mush it, and then there's still a lot of water. And the reason for that is we actually want it to get goldy and lovely and dark and crispy so that it starts caramelizing. So sometimes people would just make it like this and that's that. All good. No, you can take it a step further. You want to almost burn this, almost caramelize it, and develops this beautiful flavor. So that's my secret. Right, let's just let that go. Let's get started on our onion rings. We need to soak them in some milk. It takes away the sharpness of the onion and acts as a binder as well when you put the flour around it, and it's going to be extra delicious crispy if you follow that step. Right, let's get that onion cut up, get a firm grip, and let's cut those rings quite thin, right? We're not making thick onion rings with a very thick batter. This is going to be light, crispy, and fluffy. You know, and we're following a specific style, specific restaurant's way of making onion rings, where it's light and crispy, and the seats are red and leather, and you know what? I think let's give that a stir. I can smell that burntness coming from it. So, come check this out. Yes. You see that? Can you see it's burnt? That is what you want. All right, time to turn this guy off. I know you're thinking, I've burnt this. I haven't. I'm going to show you now what's going to happen to this lovely, delicious butternut. Mix it in there. All right, we've got that mixture. We've got that lovely carameliness from the bottom of the pot all mixed in. And can you see how this has changed color? It's not that sunshine gold, it's like sunset gold. It is incredible. And this adds to the flavor and an incredible step up of normal butternut. Can't wait. Number 2 done. Let's go on to next. So, back to that restaurant. that has got those leather seats and has now got cowl patterns on. And every kid's birthday party used to be spent there. And Friday evenings, they used to have specials. Have you guessed it yet? Well, the Spur. And that's why we bring this steakhouse classic back home to make it right here at home on the fire. Lovely T-bone steak. I mean, come on, remember those days? Monkey Gland Sauce, the chips, the onion rings, and the beautiful sides, cream spinach, and the incredible butternut that we've just finished off. All right, without further ado, let me stop talking. Let's get this in the milk. All right, now that we've got them in there, let's just de-ring them, fluff them around a little bit. We want individual strands or individual rings. Let's get some milk on there. So just enough to basically cover or surround the onion rings. Let's just mix them in. Let's leave them in that milk mixture for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Our fire is going good. We're going to get that grid on. And then we're almost ready to get stuck into that spinach. So let's get these guys chopped up. So let's just get that removed. I know it's quite a lot of spinach that you see here, but you know, spinach, it cooks down to absolutely nothing. Look at this. It's a humongous amount of spinach. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to show you that it's not so much. This was 600 grams of spinach, so 2 packs, right? Let's get this chopped up. Okay, we want this quite streaky, right? So just move your hands along. Make sure you don't get your fingers involved in this whole cutting process. All right, and then take this and let's just cut it sideways like that. Perhaps in about 3 pieces or so. You can get stuck onto making the bechamel creamy sauce. 2 tablespoons of butter. Start out with 1 tablespoon of flour. Get that flour mixed in there. Okay, let's add that 2nd tablespoon of flour. All right, let's stir that in there. We're going to add our lovely cream. Just mix that in there. All right, and let's add a cup of milk, just slowly while stirring. You want that nice, thick, creamy sauce. Rightio. Now, we've got some nutmeg. So my preference is very little nutmeg. It's a very, 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 very strong taste. I can't explain to you how strong it is. So, I mean, a 1/4 teaspoon is enough. Depends. If you like the taste of nutmeg, then go for it. Add it. Go ballistic. But for me, nutmeg is extremely strong. So you can see there, it's very runny, right? You want it to be like that because we're going to add the spinach. All right, so let's get this mound of spinach in there. All right, let's just put the lid on. Let that go for a bit. All right, let's take a look at this beauty. Ah, look at it bubbling away. All right, let's give it a taste. Just want to taste the sauce, really, right? Okay. It definitely needs some salt. And then some nutmeg. Don't confuse it with the cinnamon that was lying around. I know I said nutmeg's very strong, but this actually definitely needed a touch more. And then let's take our parmigiano and let's grate that in there. So we want this to be nice and cheesy. So we're looking for around about almost a 1/2 cup of parmigiano. Definitely want some black pepper in there. You just mix that in there and it'll thicken up all by itself. All right, let's get started on those onion rings. We're done. Okay, let's get these onion rings into this bowl. Now there is a correct method of dredging these onions, right? But we're doing a very quick cheat here. Just take them out of that milk. Now we take some salt. You need to flavor your onion rings or your onions, and then some secret power onion powder. Yes, onion powder. It's stuck at the moment, so mix it in there with your finger. Sprinkle the onion powder over. Well, that gives it this lovely crispy texture and will enhance your dish like you will not believe. All right, onion powder, secret ingredient, and then your flour. So just sprinkle it over there. Okay, let's just mix it in there. Let's get these guys coated a little bit. Right, can you see that? Just lightly coated. All right, you don't have a thick batter on this. All right, let's get them in there. A few at a time. All right, let's just move them around so they don't stick together. All right, got a nice beautiful golden color on these guys. Look at that. That's the way you want them. Let's get them off. Let's get the rest of these guys in. Look at that. Delicious crunchiness. All right. Our last batch is coming off. Those delicious, crispy, enhanced onion rings with that onion powder. It's a winner. It's a winner. I've tasted it a little bit and I can tell you, it's a winner. Right, let's get that in the oven. Keep it warm. Let's get going on that steak. All right, we are eventually ready. Let's get this guy seasoned. So we've let him rest out of the fridge. That's just so that the meat can relax, that it's not stiff, that it's not hard when you sear it. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough piece of meat. All right, let's season both sides. And then I like adding some olive oil. This is just so that the meat doesn't stick and it starts the crispiness on the braai off very nicely. Right, so there we go. All over the steak. All right, let's get this guy on. Let's get that sear on that side. Yeah, still lovely hot coals, searing off lovely. That's the sound you want. We're only going to go very quick on that side for 2 minutes. Swap around, get that fat seared off, and then let him rest. Okay, time to swap him over. Look at that. Look at that charredness. Lovely. Let's get him back on. Let's take a look. You can still see it's a little bit rare there. You don't want to get that side done too much, right? Because that's the fillet part of the meat. And there we've got the sirloin. And it's still got a bit of a spring to it, so I think that's perfect. Let's just give it a light basting. Let's turn it around. Give that side a basting. Oh yes. Don't be shy. You want that stickiness, you want that glaze all over. And that smell, oh my word, that smell is lovely and incredible. Right, now that we've got the caramel side done on that side, let's swap him over. Let's get that fat rendered down. Look at that. The fat is really caught there. Let's get it nicely seared off. And our baby is literally done. That's it. Look at that. Look at that charredness. That's what you want. That is what we're talking about. Beautiful. Okay, let's get him wrapped up and rested. Let's let that rest for a good 8 to 10 minutes. I know you're keen. I know you just want to start devouring this thing right now, but the resting is so important just for it to relax and come back to its juiciness. Otherwise, if you're going to cut into it, it's going to just run, that juice is just going to run all out. So that's why we let it rest. Look how juicy it is. Okay, let's get him cut up. All right. Let's take him off the bone over there. It's a T-bone, right? And they call it T-bone because this is where the T starts. So this is the sirloin part of the cut, and this baby over here is the fillet, which is the softest part of the meat. There we go. So this is how we got them, right? There we go. Now look at that tenderness, that juiciness, that tenderness. Right. So they come off like that. That's the way we want to present it. Let's give it slices. There we go. Look at that. Still beautiful pink, medium rare. That's what we want. Look at that fillet. All right. So let's put him back there. Let's get this back on. Right, like that. There we go. And that is exactly how we want it presented. I can't wait. Look at this feast in front of us. Man, a person doesn't even know where to start. But anyways, let's get this going. Cream spinach. Lovely, lovely cream spinach. Fantastic. Look at that, not runny. And then we've got the butternut. Look at the color of this butternut. Remember, this is your game changer. Burn that butternut. I swear to you, just give it a go. Just give it a go. Okay, let's get that in there. It's dessert, right? Dessert. Then we've got these lovely chips. Put them in there. And, you know, we just pop them in the oven and put some lovely black pepper on them, salted them. Beautiful chips. And onion rings. Put them in the center. Pile them up. And listen to that crispiness. Listen. Look here. That's going to be magnificent. All right. Let's get that amazing steak on here. Look at that beautiful piece. Look at that beautiful piece. All rendered, that beautiful fat. Perfectly done steak. Okay, come, let's get him on. And then some fat because we love that. And then the fillet, part of the meat as well. There we go. Look at that. Oh, so tender, so juicy. All right. Look at that incredible dish. Come on, let's get stuck in. So this steak needs to be tasted just on its own. Got the beautiful part of the fillet here. Oh. That is nostalgic. In fact, I think I don't ever have to go to that restaurant again. This is seriously incredible. Let's get that monkey gland sauce on. That monkey gland, right? That to die hard for monkey gland sauce that we're so proud of here in South Africa. Get him smothered on there. Right. And let's take a bite of that. That. My word, that is magnificent. All right, Gotta taste the cream spinach. Creamy, peppery. That parmesan I can taste. It is magnificent. And then you've got this amazing butternut. Oh my word. French onion rings. Can't get enough of them. You can even dip a chip in your butternut. Or this monkey gland sauce. Dip it in there. That is a winner. For sure. I mean, come on. Let's get stuck in there. This is incredible. Look at that. Look at this. Right? Look at that. Get your gobber in there. Oh my word. Magnifique. Listen guys, come join us on these amazing recipes that we make. I'd love for you to give me your feedback. Tell me what you like so that I can put it on our next video. Cheers and join us on Travel Trails and Tastes.